Hey guys, how's it going? UFC 296 is upon us, and there's three fights that I'm very interested about. So let's go ahead and talk about those three fights. But before we do that, welcome everybody. Welcome to Fight Business. And if you haven't already, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. So the three fights that we are interested about are which three fights, you may ask? It is the main event, obviously, and Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson, and Shavkat Rakhmonov versus the Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson. So let's go ahead and take a little preview talk on all these three fights before the pay-per-view itself. Let's talk about the Tony Ferguson fight first. So, Mr. Tony Ferguson, he was a great fighter. He was somebody who was going to fight Habib. They scheduled that fight like 5 times, I think, and Mr. Ferguson still brings up Mr. Habib a lot. I was very interested in the fight when Mr. Habib was supposedly going to fight Mr. Tony Ferguson, but it never went through. It fell through 5 times, ladies and gentlemen. Please pardon me. But that was when Mr. Ferguson was very good. He had like a 12 fight winning streak. Now he's on a bit of a losing streak now, Mr. Ferguson is. So this guy from England, this guy Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, he just came into the UFC recently. He's a little bit new to the UFC, so let's see how this one goes, because there's a lot of hype about this kid too, um, because of his actions, because of his just acts on the camera. I guess he's got that little hairstyle too. So I just want to see how Tony Ferguson does with somebody who's new to the UFC, because he was a really great fighter, but now he's on a losing streak. But when he was really good, he was up there with Habib. People were really interested in in that fight. Every time that it got scheduled, it was very much of a big fight. But unfortunately, it never went through. Let's talk about the other fight now, Mr. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Mr. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is interesting because it is interesting to see what Mr. Shavkat Rakhmonov will display on the show. What he will show us. What he will display. What will he do? Will it be brutal? Will it be more? I just want to see this new prospect. He's got 17. His record is 17-0. And I believe they're all finishes. I did not know much about him before. I just saw him on the internet recently on YouTube. There's a lot of hype about this gentleman here, Mr. Shavkat Rakhmonov. So I'm very interested to see how this gentleman performs again against a veteran who was never a champion. He never became a champion, but he fought Tyron Woodley a few times when Tyron Woodley was the champion. But that's the Karate Kid, Mr. Wonderboy Thompson, who usually comes with his dad. That's going to be an interesting fight, but I do think Mr. Wonderboy Thompson is going to get demolished. I just want to see in what fashion that happens, so that will be an interesting thing to see. Finally, the main event, ladies and gentlemen. Now the main event is the welterweight fight. It's for the championship, obviously. It is the main event. It's Mr. Leon Edwards fighting Mr. Colby Covington. So let me just remind you guys how Mr. Leon Edwards won the belt that he has. He won it again against Mr. Kamaru Uthman. In that fight, what was happening was that it was a 5-round fight, obviously, because it was a championship fight. But Mr. Kamaru Uthman was basically dominating the whole fight, and it was looking to be a unanimous decision win for the champion until the 5th round, and maybe towards the end of the 5th round, when Mr. Leon Edwards went ahead and kicked Mr. Kamaru Uthman in the head and knocked him out. There are clips of it on YouTube. You can go check it out if you want. So that's when Mr. Leon Edwards became the champion. He was losing the fight the whole time, and he just beat Kamaru Uthman, who had been a dominating champion for, I would say, years. I would have to check the record on that, but definitely more than a year. I would say years, maybe a couple of years. Anyway, moving on, Mr. Leon Edwards is fighting Mr. Colby Covington, somebody who Mr. Kamaru Uthman has beat. I would say like twice already, at least 2 times, I believe. So, but it will still be interesting because Mr. Colby Covington, he's a great fighter. He's got a great gas tank, and his wrestling is good. And he likes to come to fight. One fight I was seeing him, I forget who it was against. I'm not sure if it was against Masvidal, but he was just ignoring his coaches. I think it was against Kamaru Usman, where the coaches were just telling him to take him down, I believe. But like, it was just that one fight where both of these gentlemen, Mr. Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, they just refused to wrestle. Both of them just refused to wrestle, and for 5 rounds they just went, toe to toe, stand up fight. They just went 1-2, 1-2, or like just straight boxing, kickboxing fight. It was a straight striking fight. That was the fight that I'm thinking about, where Mr. Colby Covington was just ignoring his coaches to wrestle. So the reason why I bring that up to you guys is because I want to tell you guys that Mr. Colby Covington, he comes to fight. That's why that is another interesting fight that we will be watching against the champion. So please stay tuned. We may make 3 separate videos on reactions of these 3 fights. So please stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for all the support, ladies and gentlemen, and continue the support for me, please. It means a lot, ladies and gentlemen. So please go ahead and keep doing that, and like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.